But we're not starting yet. We start already.
So guys, behave yourself.
Bos tak cakap. Okay. Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi lijalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin al-Fatih lima akhliq wal khatim lima sabaq nasir al-haqqi bil haqqi wal hadi ila siratikal mustaqim wa ala alihi wa haqq qadrihi miqdarihi al-azim. Alhamdulillah. So just a few verses first before we start then. So Allah SWT has said in the Quran, Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim, which is where the angels have said to him, glory be to you, we have no knowledge except that what you have taught us. You are truly the all-knowing, the all-wise. As well, Allah SWT has said, indeed the messenger of Allah SWT, indeed in the messenger you have an excellent example for whoever has hope in Allah and the last day and remembers Allah often. Elsewhere Allah SWT says, then He is the one who raised for the illiterate people a messenger from among themselves, reciting to them His revelations, purifying them and teaching them the book and wisdom. For indeed they had previously been clearly astray. And with respect to today's talk as well, Allah SWT says in the Quran, recent in translation, another of His signs is that He created spouses for among yourselves, for you to live in tranquility. He ordained love and kindness between you. There truly are signs for those who reflect. So Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a warm welcome to all to our honorable speakers, Sister Anon and Brother Osman, our respected elders and beloved brothers and sisters. We are gathered here today, alhamdulillah, at Mukha Cafe for a talk, for a discussion, for a conversation on a most intimate subject entitled Kissing and Words of Love, the Adab of Sex. Inshallah, our speakers, Sister Anon and Brother Osman, will go over some of the finer points of the manners and adab that both husband and wife need to have to promote a healthy marriage filled with love, tranquility and mercy, based on their latest book and research titled Sex, Soul and Islam. Okay, this book, inshallah, copies are available here at Piecemeal. I think you probably have seen it outside. We'd like to thank the organizer of today's talk, Kawin Care, which is an organization whose aim is to nurture positive and healthier marriages in Malaysia through traditional Islamic knowledge with current tools by providing support, counseling, workshops and trainers programs. Thanks as well to Mukha Cafe and her crew for accommodating us and entertaining us with their delicious food and vibes. For both, you can get their updates on the usual social media platforms. Now, just a quick introduction of the authors themselves. Inshallah, the Brother Osman and Sister Enon, they are husband and wife writing team from Singapore. So Sister Enon comes from a background in social work, earning her bachelor and masters in this field from the National University of Singapore and US, while Brother Osman, on the other hand, graduated with a Bachelor of Architecture from the same university. With their experience in conducting marriage preparation and sex education talks and workshops, coupled with Sister Enon's decades of experience in marital counseling, they have authored 2 books. The first book is Tranquil Hearts, which is also co-authored with Fatima Yunus, was published in 1989 and has become a go-to textbook for marriage guidance courses in Singapore. The second book is which is titled Sex, Soul and Islam, which is published last year, 2022, by Claritas Books. So it's an honor to have them here today to have a conversation over some of the highlights of their book and the topic of today's session, Lovemaking as an Expression of Faith. Sorry, wrong one. Kissing and Words of Love, the Adab of Sex. Yeah, sorry, Lovemaking was yesterday's one. Okay, before passing the floor to our guests, allow me to set some ground rules and explain today's agenda. So for ground rules, first, kindly put your phones into silent mode. If you need to take call, kindly leave the room. Okay, I have to also silence my phone. Please take notes and write down your questions. You can write down or send your questions to the QR code there. Okay, they will come then into a Slido, where then we will go through one by one, inshallah. And one thing to remember is to try to keep your questions as general as possible, and also without having to identify anyone, right? So what I mean by that is, example, try to avoid using my wife or my husband. Instead, you can try if a wife or if a husband or if a marital couple. So please use the links then, send in your questions. Set your intentions. Okay, intentions are important. Set intentions to be here, to listen to this talk, and to learn about this topic, and whatever good intentions that you may have. Barakallahu fiikum. Today's agendas, after this welcome note, I'll pass the floor then to our honored guests. Then shall have a conversation, question and answer, inshallah. And then finally, we'll see what time we close, but we probably have to close around 4:30, inshallah. So, just a quick, it's a section of a poetry actually from Raja Ali Haji, which is an advice. Raja Ali Haji was a scholar from the 19th century, from Pulau Penyengat, Riau. It's in Malay, so for those of you who don't understand Malay, come and see me later on, I'll tell you the translation, inshallah. Okay. So what it is apabila sudah naik ke rumah, isterimu itu boleh dijamah. Akan tetapi hendaklah hemah akan sunnah Nabi Ar-Rahmah. Apabila hendak mengerjakan, gurau dan senda tuan dahulukan. Peluk dan cium hendak banyakkan, pujuk dan cumbu pula sertakan. Alhamdulillah. So, without further ado then, enough for me. I'll pass it now to them. We are the stars of the day. So inshallah, fadal syukurah. You need one, I think two mics. Okay.
Kenapa kayak gini? A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa barik wa sallim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Oops. Okay. Thank you very much for your attendance. Oh, sorry. Macam tak biasa, macam nasir. Okay, I'll try. The title Kissing and Words, the Adab of Sex. So I will start by introducing you the hadith from which the phrase kissing and words of love is taken from. And then I will explain to you what it refers to and how it is related to our book. Yeah. But before that, I would like you to remember that the word adab, usually translated as etiquette, it is not the morality that we are talking about, but rather those are actually, adab is actually prescribed guidance that is established through Islamic education, Islamic learning. It is meant to be like guidance for us to achieve the morality which is being intended. Do you understand what I mean? It is actually a means. It is the means towards an end. What we want is actually the akhlaq. And so what we will discuss today and what the book will focus.
We do without the mic. Do you think you can hear us? Is it okay?
No, need the mic, I think.
We need
Oh yeah, the other way is you can use this, clip it
Oh,
to
yeah,
your
okay.
label,
Yeah,
and then
you
at least
should.
for the live, they can catch the sound.
Right. Okay. If you
I don't know how you want to put sound.
okay, then
yeah.
I will do that. No
Okay.
worry. That'd be wonderful. Alright. Just put anywhere. Alright. Testing. Sorry for that. Alright. Thank you. Yes.
So the adab, behind the adab is actually the spirit that we have to achieve. So that's why when we are discussing today, you will not see the list of adabs. We will not be discussing on the list of adabs. You may, in our book, we have discussed it in chapter 3, a few of the adab that are known. And when you come across this, some other books, or maybe you Google the adab of making love, so on and so forth. I would like to remind you that you should take this as guidance. And what is it supposed to lead you to? It's supposed to lead you to the value which we believe the Prophet is trying to instill in us. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean. Yeah. So you don't. All I want you to understand is that this session we will not be going through the adabs, but rather we will discuss the value which the adab that you read in other books is leading you towards.
The end game.
Okay, yeah. So our book, our lecture is the end game of the adab. Yeah. So it is taken from this hadith. It's called on what page is this?
Where's your spec? Sorry. Right. So do bear with us. We are actually the boomer generation. Alright. So and
a lot of systems have
a lot of
malfunction.
system malfunction. Yeah. But we do think that we need a boomer to discuss this lah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So this is on page 116 of the book. So there is this hadith which we call the messenger hadith. Where the prophet say, "Let none of you fall suddenly upon your wife. Let there be a messenger between the two." That's the important thing. Let there be a messenger between the two. And then someone asks the prophet, "What is the messenger?" Then the prophet say that phrase, "Kissing and words of love."
A very well-known hadith, I think, which had been often quoted in a lot of the writings, and I think most of us should be familiar with it. If not, yeah.
Okay. So here, I would like us to go a little bit deeper into this hadith. When you first look at it, does it remind you of this concept of foreplay? It does, eh? Yeah. This is something which I would like to clarify. We don't believe that it is actually referring to foreplay per se. It involves foreplay, but the Prophet was talking about something which is wider than that. Okay? Why I say that is because the Prophet say, "Let there be a messenger between the two." If the Prophet had wanted to talk about foreplay, he would have used words like muqaddimah. Started with this thing, with this messenger. Or he would have said, "Let there be between sex and non-sex, let there be a messenger." But he said, "Let there be a messenger between the two." It means that it must always remain between couples. Every time, every part of your life, 24/7, sleeping, wake up in the bedroom, outside the bedroom, in the house, everywhere. The messenger must be established. Okay?
Yeah.
One of the problem with the concept of foreplay is, especially by the 1980s, there's this concept. It's not only Western, but it's also modern. Because even among the West, the concept of foreplay was not known. In fact, the word foreplay was only known in the English vocabulary in 1929. Only in 1929 they start. They have words like seduction, like in other languages, like for example, if you try to translate the word foreplay in Malay, you can find pramain. You literally you can do that, but it doesn't mean anything. But when you talk about foreplay, the word that comes in mind is cumbuan. But you remember, cumbuan is not confined to just before you make love. Cumbuan can actually can be throughout your life, throughout your day, throughout. So this concept is actually very new, even among the Westerners, more so among the Easterners. Okay. When we start reading sex books, by the 1980s, late 1980s, sex therapists are saying that this concept is causing a lot of problem in sexual relationship. Because of this, when people start looking at foreplay, they see whatever they are supposed to do, the cumbuan thing, as what comes before play, because it's foreplay. So there is a foreplay, there is a core play, and there is afterplay, or sometimes they call it afterglow. So because of this approach in the understanding of foreplay, by the end of the sexual revolution, people tend to take the foreplay as something which is less important than the play itself. The play is the intercourse. So because of that, because people focus on the intercourse too much, there is a mismatch between men and women. because men is very much ready. Women need the thing that they want to do, which is foreplay, and because they focus on the play itself, the core play itself, a lot of mismatch actually happen in the bedroom, and usually by the time it is not only among Muslims but also be it the non-Muslim sex therapists, or even among them, some of them don't even get married, but among the veteran lovers, by the time they are going steady already, they have forgotten this thing called foreplay, because it is taken as less important and it's only a foreplay. So because of that, actually, the process that is needed to happen for a mutually satisfying relationship does not happen. Okay. So when the Prophet talk about kissing and love, kissing and words of love, he's actually talking about something which should happen between the two of you. So he's referring to a connection, a very deep connection between couples. So kissing and words is used by the Prophet to refer to the sensuality that should happen, the comfort between husband and wife in the sensual sense. Meaning, to make it simple, you should be comfortable to touch each other, to hug each other, to express each other's feelings using your senses. Okay, using your touch, using your speech, sometimes listening, so on and so forth. So what the Prophet is telling us is, before you go into, the hadith say, right, do not go immediately. So you establish let there be a messenger between the two. It means that it's not only before you do the lovemaking today, tonight. What it means is that before you start your sex life, you should start to have the emotional connection. The first part is you must establish the sensual connection that you should have between couple. And then the second part is the words of love. It's actually referring to the emotional connection. The sex should be an extension of this connection that you should have. Okay, so this is the end game of what the Prophet is teaching us Muslims. So the next time you read books and you see adab like before you make love, you take wudu first. You make sure that there is privacy. You make sure there is perfume, so on and so forth. Those are actually steps that you should take to get this end game, to get this value of extending your sensuality and your emotionality towards your sexual activity. Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
This is the writer speaking. This is the counselor speaking.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else you want to say?
I think so.
Okay, enough.
Yeah.
You don't have performance anxiety, please. Okay, right. So that is Osman's introduction. Basically, he's saying that we need to see our sexual relationship not as something specific and be single-minded and focused. It's not like 12 o'clock you want to have couple relationship. 11:30 you start doing something, and then at 10 o'clock, for example, this can happen to husband or wife. 10 o'clock, the husband can come back and look at the wife and what she cook. Say, what? Sambal belacan again? I don't like sambal goreng, nasi goreng. You are angry with her at 10 o'clock, and then you think by 10:30 or 11 she'll be turned on by you. Alright? Those are men need to understand this. You want to be a better lover to your partner. And husband, sorry, your partner. Yeah. So basically, the foreplay, actually the relationship, the messenger between the two of you has to happen throughout your marriage life. Let's say tonight you have lovemaking at 12 o'clock. It continue the next day also, before the next lovemaking. It's an ongoing process. Because the nature of man and human, the sexual relationship is just not purely a physical act. there is a lot of emotional connection, which I think we will respond more because there were a lot of questions that came in that really fit into what we want to share today. I would like to say that we get the vibe here is different, very intellectual and very deep dive question from this community. Alhamdulillah. We have been doing this, we have done this internationally and very serious question. MashaAllah, it's your good people, yeah. Yeah, so that's my add-on to what Usman has to say.
She has made it simpler, right?
Yeah, that's why he's the writer, I'm the counselor. So the book is written by Usman. It took about 7 years to write the book. It was a long journey. You want to know about it, you can follow us at Ainwan and Usman. We have been telling people what it's like, but that's not important. I think more important is that we want to address the question. Yeah. So after what he say, are there people who want to ask question or respond to it before we have about 10, 11 questions already?
Now we have 13 actually.
Okay, right. Okay, oh, so scary. All right, any question? If you're shy, we will distribute to you some papers, or you can do Slido. Yeah, but the one we have no inai, people actually write question and they fold it very small, you know. I must open it. Yeah, anyone want paper? Just there's our tech support there. They run in green. Yeah, we have paper, pencil, and all that. Or should we just distribute to them in case they want? Yeah. Yeah, we will distribute to make it. Even though you feel like you can just take and write something, or you don't write, also you just put in so that it doesn't look like only
you can
one.
Pretend.
You can pretend. Okay.
So
because
we hide those who really ask the question.
yeah, and do not have to write your name. Okay. Because we understand it's a taboo and it's something new for you all. Yeah.
So before we go to Slido question, just want to mention about the sexual revolution. What is that?
Alright, can.
Don't know what
You don't know.
Okay.
You never study one.
No. That one I didn't study.
Anyone heard about this before? Alright, yeah. So also we'll do a summary of sexual revolution.
The sexual revolution is around 1960s onwards. Basically, it coincides with the women's liberation movement, where women are fighting for their rights to be treated equally to men in economy, in politics, and so forth. So it goes into sex also. So women want to be treated equally like men.
Means they can have as many sex as they want, with as many men as they want.
Yeah.
No double standard allowed. So that was the mentality in the 1960s that started the sexual revolution.
So the woman was fighting for this right lah. But they didn't know that the men also like it. Because so this is what sexual revolution is by the 1960s. By the 1980s, when we read books on the 1980s, for example, there's this Hyde report on women's sexuality. The woman pecah tembelang apa in English? Found
unhappy.
Found the trick lah, so to speak. The women were beginning to realize that this is not working out for them.
Not to their advantage.
Not to their advantage, because even though there's a lot of sex happening, the what do you call this? The manner in which the sexual activity is happening is happening is very much like is very much advantageous to men.
Yeah.
Like men can enjoy, men can have the
more partners.
No, men can have the enjoyment all the way to climax very easily,
Right.
Whereas women needs a lot more introductions and so forth. So that the increase in the activity happens, but it leads to men enjoying the sex more and more, but it doesn't lead to the woman actually.
Right.
So by the 1980s, there were women who beginning to complain that the promise of the sexual revolution is not happening to them.
Right. So basically, what happened? Men has more sex, women also have more sex. As what is happening now, when you look at Hollywood movie, having sex with each other is like non-issue. It's like, they don't even have to be in a relationship. They like each other and they can be intimate. So the end game is that it's not satisfying for the woman, because this will link into our topic and our premises. And the reality is that for women, sexual relationship is not just about intercourse. So we use the word intercourse, or we use the word animals, like animalistic, meaning that you just want to have sex and that's it. That's what we mean when we use this term. So for a woman, the sex is actually an emotional connection. It's a social connection. It's to be understood, to be bonded, to feel that you are loved, to feel that it's an attention. Yeah, this is what is closer to what Islam advocates about sexual relationship between men and women. So in one of the interesting study from Hyde Report, because the man has a lot of practice, they actually know how to turn on the woman. They know how to stimulate the woman, and they're very single-minded and cold-blooded in doing it in their sexual relationship. And when they do this to the woman are actually not happy. You think what? I'm a light, you can switch on and off and it'll be okay.
It's true.
Yeah. So the technique that guys learn from their many sexual encounter is not a turn on for a woman. Woman is more complex than that. It's not one button. There's a whole switchboard that you need to know how to switch on, and then different situation we have a different combination. You know, yeah, you cannot on everything. It depends on what's happening on that day. That is the simplest analogy you can. Any engineer, it is here is that complex. So yeah. Yeah, so that is so the sexual revolution now is still going on, and I think right now what I see is more like, yeah, sex is nothing. You can have it with as many people as you want, as young you want, because they are advocating that you are 14, you have sexual needs is part and parcel of how you are. You have to accept it. If you have LGBT inclination, it's also okay. That's the way you are. This is the messaging from the West, which fortunately, because we are Muslim, we have certain boundary towards that. Yeah, and now I think a lot of the themes from the Western society is about women right for orgasm. Okay, that is happening now, and this theme is also picked up by a lot of Muslim sex educators. We have our own stand on this.
Yeah.
Shall we? Yeah.
So, but maybe we will touch on it again
later,
because we would like very much to link it to your question, so that you will absorb it better when it comes from the question. Yeah.
So this is Ambuan started this. But anyway, let's go back to the question. Okay, any other question from you all? Actually, our session we want to make it light-hearted. We'll be light-hearted, but we'll be respectful about the subject.
Go through some of the questions.
Yeah.
I think the questions
Okay.
are from here.
What is it just now? What did you do?
Yes, but then.
Sorry, can you louder?
I spoke just now. I got feel basically like it's what a woman not the men's fault lah.
Ni kena pakai baik. Yes.
It's like saying it's
Macam MNC sikit
men's fault. The relationship. But is it the woman also a contributory to the thing? It's a two-way traffic.
Right. Good question.
The man needs to work and understand the relationship. But it could be also on that side.
Right. Right.
Can you rephrase because I can't get the front.
Right.
The front.
So you are saying that are we giving the message that it's the man's fault?
I'm getting that feel like the man not
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Then for example, come back nasi pagi ke sana, there's a man started out lah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, actually, if you by the end.
I get from my understanding Islam, right, the wife is also not supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a very good point of view.
Come back home, the wife should be ready, smiling, example.
Yeah.
With the husband.
Right.
And why you prepare something that doesn't like? Example, but you
Yeah.
said that I think turn off everything.
Yeah.
Also that
Yeah.
somehow I get a view.
Right. Ken.
Yeah.
You want
Okay,
to
yeah.
answer?
It's true that if you, by the end of this talk, by the end of yesterday's talk, you will get the idea that like, as if the onus is on the men to provide this. If you read our book, you will also find that. And I am sure if you are, I'm sure that if you are the, not you lah, I mean if
The men folk, the normal men folk.
the macho, what's the word, male chauvinists, the male chauvinists, when they read this book, they will accuse us of being feminists. It's not because we think men is the problem, but rather because we are Muslims, we know that men is the head of the family. So whether you like it or not, whether it is caused by the woman or caused by the man, you have to solve the problem. You have to lead the two of you towards solving the problem. Now this is one reminder that stick to my head. It was reminded by one porn. What to say?
Anti-porn counselor.
Anti-porn counselor, not porn counselor. Anti-porn counselor. They use the word pornologist. He's an Australian. His name is Wael Ibrahim. So he's saying that among his clients, majority of men are blaming the wife. They say, I go into polygamy because my wife not like last time. Last time very hot, now, all sorts of things like they are complaining about. No energy, don't look good, so on and so forth. But Wael Ibrahim always tell the wives, it is never your fault. Because man is the head of the family. If the wife is not attractive anymore, what has he done? To remind the wife, okay, to make herself attractive. Maybe the husband do not have the ability to remind the wife diplomatically. It is still his fault. He should have the ability to deliver, communicate effectively. So men cannot run away from this. Okay, that is the reason why we focus on the men, because it's not our fault. Yes, you say it's true. It's Malaysia apa tu tak tepuk dua tangan apa benda?
Clap two hand. Clap my hand no sound.
Tepuk sebelah tangan.
Kita bukan tepuk sebelah tangan kan? Dia ada dua. So we like to remind the men when you hear this. Don't be men about it lah. Don't be cengeng. Don't be
Crybaby.
Don't be a crybaby. Man up. Own it. Okay, yes, it is. So later on, inshallah, as we go on into, we will describe about what we will discuss. We will discuss further what men can do. To it's about. It's not about instructing the wife to be like this, but it is actually about leading. Leading means actually to invite. To bring the wife towards. And when I say bring the wife towards, it also means you also lah. Yeah. Okay, it's mutual. It's a mutual thing. Yeah.
Right. So, alright. So this is how we do things. He say, and then I also must say, so this sometimes there was one session we only answer 2 questions, but never mind. Also, I say the importance of man leadership, and this one, every man know they are a leader, right? You know your rights, right? Rights to polygamy, rights that wife must obey to you. But do you remember your responsibility to nurture the wife, to mold the wife and the family? I think remember lah, but sometimes forget.
But
yeah.
in the present context of the world, women becomes
Well, yeah.
So the question of leadership sometimes is not clear. Why is it who is the running the family?
Right.
Maybe hopefully like inform bias Muslim women will understand her role, right?
The role, yeah.
The role,
Yeah.
right? What's your role? What's the man's role? And they have an understanding of both sides, their own role. Like, okay, but today the role I can see
Yes.
in the whole world. They're all like, not sure who, because maybe the wife is earning more than the husband,
Right.
and then the working example.
Okay.
So suddenly the world get mixed up, and then becomes the
Right.
issue.
If I ask the woman folk here, and maybe those who are listening can help to respond. Do you know that you have this message that our role as a wife is to be obedient to our husband? Who don't know, put up your hand. Who's questioning this? And if the audience, no woman will say that, I know I can challenge my husband. I don't have to be obedient to him. No Muslim woman will say that because this is very ingrained in our marriage guidance course on understanding about marriage in Islam. That we are to be obedient to husband as long as what he says is not against Islamic teaching, against Allah, against Rasulullah. So that is the premises. But wife sometimes will resist and be unhappy. Okay, so if wife know the ideal but cannot implement, the question is always back to who is supposed to nurture her and explain the role to her. The problem with our men folk, we don't have the stamina to actually explain and really nurture her. We say you disobedient, nanti kena laknat. You be cursed, and then you kurang ajar dengan your suami. We just know how to scold. Our wife are not uneducated women. The conversation to be rational, to explain why I decide A and not B, you must be smarter than her to know how to explain to her. That is one of our teams that currently we feel that we want wife to listen to husband based on our fikir point of view, even in sexual relationship. If you don't give me sex, you will be cursed by the angel until the morning. And our premise is that you cannot do that. Sex cannot be forced. So if you meandering a bit, if you force your wife to just provide sex, you have this kind of say, Cik Enon, saya dapat tapi saya tak dapat. We says, I get but I don't get. This is like teka-teki. Tahu tak? Means like the husband can force the wife, and the wife will say, I just give because I really have no energy to do anything else. You will have sexual gratification. You will have ejaculation. You will have orgasm. But you don't feel her connected to you as a partner. Where is the love? Where is the soul in that sexual relationship? This is something more of the issue in couple. I'm very glad you bring up because this is the reality that I face when I do counselling. Yeah. So the man up that Osman is talking about is attending to your wife. I want to ask the lady folk here, you must give correct messages to the guys, don't confuse them. If our husband attend to us and say, let's say today you are busy and you actually will be forced to make nasi goreng and say, bang, I'm busy today, no time to come back and cook. I will cook nasi goreng. Say, no problem dear, I will grab for you your favorite sushi. How will you all feel? No argument, right? But I will say, what? You have no time, what were you doing? I'm very hungry with you. You want to do nasi goreng again? Why like that? You like that, you stop work now.
You want to make love to him now after that?
Then I tell her, saya pay go away. That is the human connection. I felt that after 2 years of marriage, we forget to put in effort in a marriage. We spend 1-2 hours on our Instagram, on our phone, rather than relating to our partner. At the end of the day, we need that human connection. I have to feel that my husband attend to me as a person, not because got prawn inside the me. Bukan ada udang sebab batu. She really want to attend to my well-being. That will be the number one turn on for the wife. Of course, if you give diamond and all that, it's also
bonus lah.
That one bonus lah, got extra lah. But if you give her diamond ring and you still scold her and critical of her, diamond, yeah.
Actually, I want to comment.
Very
brother.
good question.
I think the brother is being honest.
Yep.
I think many men actually are feeling this way. So this is an area of leadership which we like husband to understand. When it comes to many other things, which other things I also don't know. But if you want to think, when you want to think about leadership by ordering, it may work. Leadership by command, leadership by instruction, leadership by fiqh, by law. You know, the Quran says blah blah blah. It may work. Maybe in finance, in decision making, but in love making, it cannot work.
Yeah.
Because you cannot command anybody to love you. You cannot command anybody to desire you. So what kind of leadership do you need? Leadership by example, tauladan. The basic concept is this. You want your wife to be attractive to you. I mean, this is what we want. Yeah. You have to be attractive first. Yeah. So you have to ask yourself, are you actually attractive?
Not only physical.
In fact, physical also not important. you notice some of the ugliest men marry the prettiest woman because it's not the
physical.
You know, ugliest man marry the prettiest woman.
He got issues.
It's not the. What is important is actually your true desire for her, in the truest sense of the word desire for her, and in the truest sense of the word her. Not her as in her looks or her body or even her genitals, but her as a personality. That means her thinking, her feelings, her condition, her situation, her worries. Right. If you can understand and express that you understand and empathize with her all these things, with her self, that is the one which actually attracts a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, we are deviating, but I think because the question is going,
Yeah, it's okay.
I want to deviate a little bit. A secret that is shared. You know the word, Casanova. I just mentioned this yesterday. I repeat the story again.
Yeah.
You know the word Casanova? It's not just a noun in English. It's actually a historical figure. So Casanova actually existed in 17th century Italy. He was a womanizer, and he wrote a memoir of his sexual escapade. But he wrote in French. It has been translated in other languages, but I haven't got the chance to read his memoir. But I've read many of commentary on his memoir. And the major takeaway from this is he said that he has never won a woman through money and coercion. He had never mentioned that he is handsome. But one thing he mentioned is that he thinks that the secret to his success is actually attention. All he do is actually give the woman that he want to trap attention. And that's why his biographers noticed that many of his victims, inverted commas, were abused women. Abused sometimes by the husbands, sometimes by the lovers, by abuse, physically abused, mentally abused, psychologically abused. So all he did, he said, was when they want to luahkan perasaan,
Express their emotion, ventilate. Yeah.
Something wrong here.
Anyone do understand Malay here? So that
No, there are some. I see some Caucasian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they want to express their
Emotion.
emotion, they want to express their frustration with their lovers, all he did was to listen.
Yeah.
And he really listened, pay attention, without touching, without any hanky-panky. All he did was that. So what happened is they become attached to him emotionally. When they begin to attach to him emotionally, it becomes very easily, it will become sensual. They become very comfortable. They're comfortable with him emotionally. They become comfortable with him sensually. Then the touching and the hugging and the so on and so forth come. When he becomes comfortable with him sensually, very, just a few more steps, they become comfortable with him sexually. So that to him, that is the secret to his success. Okay. So I'm not telling you this so that you know this secret. Now you're going to go to your neighbors and your colleagues. I'm telling you to do this to your wife.
Yeah.
This is the secret that will attract her to you.
Right. Yeah. So we are saying, be a Casanova to your wife.
No,
Full stop.
basically.
Don't
See,
extra.
you understand this pattern. I will be very theoretical, but when she speaks, everything becomes simple.
Right. When he speaks, as long as Amban understand. So I want to add part 2 to women because I think it's important for men to know. Be it they are housewife or even they are working. Yeah? So just now, let's say she's busy with work. If you know she's busy, because she will have said, oh, I'm very busy, got someone coming in and got end of the year project, you already know. And before she does, in the morning you say, Yang, today don't worry, I will settle the dinner, I buy food. You do before she asks, you score high point. Agree?
Bonus.
Anyone disagree? Yeah, I have to ask the woman first. If your husband can show that and tell you, hey bang, today I will buy, you just come back and we will having a day. How will y'all feel? Yeah? Great. How will y'all feel? How will you feel towards the husband? The love increase or not? Got chance or not that night? Yeah. I mean, they need to hear the feedback. It's important for you to say, have your say. If not, because your husband be listening to this. Why it happened, it's not that day he buy food. The action symbolizes that you think about her. About her difficulty. You think about her. The fact that you forget to buy birthday cake, well, it's not about the birthday cake. If you don't buy, you forget today's Mother's Day, you forgot about her, not the event. So this is the men need to
The
understand
finer
this.
point, yeah.
The final point of why is significant. You don't remember my birthday. You don't remember I like diamond and not gold. All this you are thinking about her, and she's very close to your heart. And we want that from our husband, right? Yeah.
So that was from
Sorry,
Casanova.
right.
But there's also another source of this same information that I'm giving. In the Hyde report, the Hyde report is this survey that this woman do, 1983.
Right.
She went around asking about 3,000 women about sexuality, and one of the section is about what attracts you to a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things which they consistently mention is the men who come to them with all these techniques that they learn from magazines and so forth, but they don't understand. They can't be bothered to even ask what they are feeling at that point. You know, whether they want to be touched or whether they want just to talk, so on and so forth. So it's all about what attracts them. It's actually the ability of the men to be able to understand them. And there's one quote that we wrote in the book under the title of The Elusive Female Desire. There's this one woman who said that the best of the men are those who have gone beyond techniques, and they are people who connect to the woman. You know, so the woman, being able to connect to the woman is more important than the techniques that you can learn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. Before so one thing about women also, we must help the men, and the men must know this. What work today, Mother's Day, 14 May, doesn't mean it will work next few days. Today she likes it that you ask and talk about. Tomorrow she want you actually to pick up the children. So women also move, you know. It's like people change. So that if you pay, the principle is that if you pay attention to your partner, your wife, you will know when what will turn her on, what is her priority. It will change because you pay attention to her. But you lazy, you put in the box. Okay, she only want me to buy food when she's busy. You do it all the time. It doesn't work anymore. It's like customer service. You know, like Mukha sell this kind of food. Another time you know that maybe people want different kind of food, and then you have to move on. So attention to your partner. And as I say, I see couples spend too much. Basically, love and marriage is hard work. Actually, abang know already. Yeah, if you've been married for more than 2-3 years, a lot of hard work. Enormous amount. We're not talk about one topic, maybe 2-3 hours. Yeah, that is the reality. But when you sort out the communication, then you will see the joy of having a soulmate that you can share without being threatened, and it's a safe space. So that's the other. Yes, brother.
So I have a question related to conflict management in
Right.
a relationship. The reason I'm asking is because different people and different couples have different thresholds of what is acceptable for conflict happens, and some are higher, some are lower. An example would be, for myself as a man, I don't mind leaving 2 months on my table.
You what?
2 months of my pay.
I've gone down, I've taken a month, I've drank 2 months.
2 months of.
And I go back up and I want more water, and I leave the mug up there and go down again another mug. Right? So for example, for some other women maybe it's 5. For my wife, I know I've tested it, it's 2. So the point I'm make is that it isn't about the action per se, it's about how do I manage that conflict from before it happens, because in a lot of relationships, a lot of men don't know what is worth fighting about and what is not. And sometimes they feel it can be more of a controlling situation. It goes both ways, right? Because sex can be used as a tool by women to control men. And then, because they have all the leverage. And then for a man, it can be his sort of like dishonesty and retaliation in not wanting to follow sort of the house rules is how he reacts, right? So how do we avoid that conflict? And also, it feels somewhat like the switchboard has invisible buttons sometimes.
The switchboard. Yes.
Invisible buttons.
There's another connection that you cannot see and understand at all. Like AI kind of thing. Okay. This is about conflict management. There's a good book called Fighting for Your Marriage by Mark Mann. So all the books that we share with you are actually quoted in our book now. In our book, I forgot what other book. So this book, Tranquil Heart, which is available from WADA, talks about conflict management. Yeah. I think first of all, you must realize that when you get married, it's two different souls with different background, different culture, different upbringing coming together. You must expect clash. Alright? It's impossible. Even if you have a twin, you will still clash. What else? Even within family, we will clash when we are in the same nurturing environment. So therefore, it's about adjustment to each other. Couples must decide what is important and not important. The principle I want to give is actually communication and understanding what is the issue. So let me digest this in depth. You must understand what is the issue about not having a clean my cup, unwashed cup there, or I use 2 cups. What is the issue? Is it about, most likely it could be from her family background, you cannot have this thing around because it means that you are lazy, you are dirty, or there's some, yeah, so that's one. So to understand what it means to her, and then to really see whether what will be, like you have figured out is two cups is good, which is good, instead of 3 cups. And then if we decided that as a parameter, then there must be, the woman also need to back up, okay, 2 cups, 2.5 and above, then I will make a big scene. 2 cups is acceptable. And we as women, this one must tell the woman, you must also decide what is important and what is not important. At home, if there are 2 or 3 cups and you nag at your husband, you raise your tone, what if there are more than 3 unwashed cups at home, is there going to be a Ministry of Environment coming to the house? No, I fine you $300 because you have dirty cup? There is nothing, right? That's not issue of haram or halal. But when you raise your voice and you hurt your husband's feeling, you became rude to him or to anyone, as a matter of fact, then there is actually a bit of dosa there, right? Yeah, so people need to remember the relationship is more important than all this messiness. Thirdly, after the conversation, is to find out with a solution. In our days, early days of marriage, we always have this problem with Osman and me. Okay, so maybe this is an example to see how we solve it. He's in charge of washing the dishes, okay? And after dinner, he will just put the dishes there. I want the dishes to be washed so that when in the morning, I have space for my breakfast. I was nodding, scary man. and then I can prepare my meal, right? But he feels that he has no time to wash at night because he's very tired. He just wants to rest. He wants to wash when he come back from work. Okay, so a few days I'm very unhappy. I end up washing it because can't stand, and then most typically, women will just wash and that's it. And they'll be very unhappy. After nagging, they give up. Okay. When they give up, that is when danger point. Because they become passive aggressive. They will do things to you, something not happy, but I don't know what is it. This is called passive aggressive. Your things will not be important, your things will be missing. Your family events semua, sakit lah, sakit hati lah actually. Means sick or actually you are very upset with your
husband. T-shirt semua ada lubang-lubang.
The t-shirt. Yeah. So then, we had a conversation, and in the early years of marriage, we spent like from 12 to 2 a.m. in the morning talking about our differences and how to match our needs. So then we came up with this solution. I get a pail, put it beside the dish basin. I put all the dishes that he doesn't wash on the pail. And then I have the basin that I want, empty basin so that I can prepare breakfast. When he comes back, he will clean it up. I will not touch it. But it requires some strength and discipline from the woman. Because when you do and you're not happy, it doesn't help. Yeah, he needs to man up. Yeah.
So you have to find
solution. Then after that, as we become more smarter, we decided that when we eat, we don't need to put the food on a bowl. Never mind, from the pot, and we bought a very big plate that both of us share.
Hidang,
really big plate. It's really legit. Okay, and then no cups. We use water bottles for plain water.
So my wife has left only 2 cups.
Yes.
So if I use it, I still have to bring it down.
Yeah.
So there's only 2. So that's
yeah. That's a good negotiation. Yeah. This is a very detailed example, but the principle to be learned is that there's a need for discourse and conversation and finding solution.
One of the reasons why we resorted to using one big plate is one day I found a chicha inside a lizard inside the pail, and I cannot handle lizard. I got to wait for her father to come. So we had to find another solution.
That's when he will clean it at night. One big. Yeah. That's an example that marriage really requires a lot of work. And I think the first few years we'll spend a lot of time talking. And then when you're a child, another set of like family conference, how to manage your child, the child's behavior. But it's a good and worthwhile investment. I think by 4-5 years, the 4th or 5th years, we feel that we are more congruent and more connected. And we never argue. And then I must share you our very important technique in decision making. Sometimes we cikupak, scissor, paper, stone. On things that are not important, to go here today or tomorrow, not important issue, just cikupak lah. Or we take turn lah, today you decide, tomorrow I decide.
Because you save your energy for the more important things that you have to argue. So some things you cikupak dah lah.
Yeah. To add to the abang question, for the women folk, we need to be congruent about what we are feeling and tell them. You cannot expect them to understand you. You feel that actually I'm upset. Yesterday you kind of scold my child, and you didn't like pujuk. You were very nasty. You must say that, because if you keep inside, does it go away? No, you have a score sheet. This is 1 time. This is 2 times. This is 3 times. There is an internal, better than AI score sheet. You can remember all this. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is how we answer question number 1. Okay. Does it answer your question? Now we go to the sex topic.
Okay, right. So there's quite a number of questions that are quite related to one another, which I kind of
we have many.
So what I mean by related is that well, the shortest or the simplest version of the question is: it seems that in Islam it's women's job to serve the husband's sexual need. This is true.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few of these similar questions in that.
Related.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So.
It's true. If from our counselling experience, it's
common.
It's very common opinion. Sometimes not expressed, but you get the vibe from their communication and from what they tell us. But it is not only in our community. When in our own research throughout the world, the male-serving interpretation of sexual rights more skewed towards the men. One of the objectives that we have in writing this book is to, of course, you understand it is not acceptable. It's not how Islam teaches sexual relationship. It is actually a mutual privilege that's given to husband and wife. So what we had to do is to find why is this happening, and we explain this in chapter 2, and we to give a summary. We feel that one of the reason, or the main reason, is because the hadith, there are certain type of hadith which are more popular than the other type. You have you heard of this hadith like when a husband calls a man to the bed?
No man, wife.
Sorry,
that is scandalous.
When the husband calls the wife to the bed, he must come. If he fails to come, he will be cursed by the angel the whole night. Have you heard of this?
Yeah. We call this the cursing angel hadith.
Okay. And then there's another one.
Sex hadith pastor.
Okay. Another one says when a husband calls the wife must come even if she is at the oven. That means busy with cooking. And then the other one is even if she's riding a camel. So all this kind of hadith, it shows, you cannot argue, that it shows that when the husband wants, the man must come.
The wife, yeah. I think someone get coffee for you.
Something is wrong out here.
Okay, I think we were a bit disturbed, and yesterday we had a serious discussion about LGBT issue in Singapore. Because anyway, this is available at page 58. Sex hadith for wife. Yeah.
So this is we feel that this is the reason why the perception in the community is that the husband's sexual need is more important than the woman. In this book, I think, I dare say, is probably about the first time that we introduce this concept, that these sayings of the Prophet are not only this. When we study all the collection of hadith concerning sex, we find that there are basically 3 types of hadith. These hadith are actually the hadith they are directed to women.
Yep.
Women must do this. There's a second type of hadith which is directed to men. And then there's a third type of hadith which is directed to the couple as a body, as an entity. So what's more relevant is the second one. So what is the hadith for? One example is the Prophet say when you
For the husband.
you want to
Yeah.
give directly.
So,
exactly.
yeah. So I want to say there are hadith
No,
for.
we give the hadith first.
So these are hadith for husband. Okay, so husband pay attention. Must do sunnah. Okay. When any of you has sex with his, when any, are you sure? I don't want to frighten the man. When any of you has sex with his wife, be earnest. When your desire is fulfilled before hers, do not stop until her desire is fulfilled. So basically, she must come. Only then you can come. Then another one, in 3 matters, the weaknesses of a male is expressed. Thirdly, the man who approaches his wife and thereby fulfills his sexual desire from her before she fulfills hers from him. So this hadith is telling husband that you must fulfill your wife's sexual desire, and the way to do it is that she must come first before you come. So this is related to a very famous book called She Comes First, He Comes Next. He's a sex therapist, Ian Kerner. Yeah, so this is the hadith for husband. Yeah.
So if you don't be selective, if you look at the whole collection of hadith, you have to balance between these two. This one is saying every time husband want,
You must serve.
every time husband, I don't want to say it wrongly again. Every time the husband want, wife must give. But this one is saying every time you do it, you must give. You understand what I mean?
Must fulfill.
You must give orgasm, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, to use the same word, to use the easy word. So you have to balance between these two. Okay. If you want to make this a hard and fast rule, you must also make this a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
If you want to say, oh, this one the Prophet don't really mean it exactly, you know, the Prophet is just giving you an idea, then you must also take this as the Prophet only giving it an idea. You know, so it means that when you do this, at the end of the day, you cannot run from the fact that actually this is something which both parties are given the privilege. So you have to balance. Okay. Therefore, I'll give you an example. The Prophet say, every time you make love, you must satisfy her. It is a scientific fact that if she is not interested in you, you cannot even make her, you cannot even start her excitement. Don't talk about orgasm.
Right.
You know. So if you call your wife, if you call your wife riding camel, if there is such a thing, wife riding camel, come here, I want it. Wife fed up. Do you think wife can orgasm?
Yeah.
Wife cannot even be excited.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is not just our theory. By today, the sex therapy, the sex therapy called Ian Kerner,
Ian Kerner.
he explained this is the nature, the difference between female desire and male desire. So the male desire is two-way. It's a two-way street. When you have desire, your organs will perform. You know, simply speaking, the organ will be erect. Very easy. You have desire. But if you don't have desire, the organ itself can be stimulated. Even without your desire, it can be stimulated by other means, by touching, by caressing. Sometimes the woman don't even have to touch. Just show. Sometimes the woman just whisper, enough. So this two-way happens. For a woman, if she has desire for you, she will be all over your body. But if she doesn't have desire for you, you cannot turn it on.
The main switch is off.
The main switch is up here. Actually, it's in here, the heart. You learn about the clitoris being the center of woman's this erotic build-up.
Desire.
If she is not interested in you, or if she is irritated by you, she is angry with you, you touch, she'll be even angrier. That's why there's such a thing as rape and harassment. Basically, you think about it, the harassment is actually when a man touches a woman when she is not interested. You know, when a woman touch a man, even if he's not interested,
Yeah.
we still feel nice. Even though you don't do this, but I tell you in your heart, nice. But no, you cannot do this.
Not this man here, inshallah.
No, even the men here, we will say, no, you cannot do this, and we run away. No, even when we run away, we say, oh, that was nice actually. No.
That's the reality lah.
That is why the Prophet, you know that the Prophet has this hadith that say to Ali, the first time you look, that the first time you see, look means the first time you see the woman beauty, that is rahmah. Second time is
forgiven.
That is rahmah.
Yeah.
The second time is a sin, the nature. And the other example to give is, you know, the Prophet Yusuf. You know the story of Prophet Yusuf and Zulaikha in the
Quran.
So in the Quran, you know, he was seduced by Zulaikha, and also not only Zulaikha but also her friends lah, seduced Yusuf. So we grow up thinking that this Yusuf is somebody who doesn't have desire for women, but that's not what Yusuf said in the Quran. Yusuf said, as reported by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in the Quran, Yusuf said, if it were not for my fear for you, O Allah, I would certainly have gone to them. That means it shows that even he also have that desire. Okay?
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to also emphasize what we see is that the hadiths that are meant for women, that the cursing angel and you are guiding camel or baking, I felt it is a reminder for women to be sensitive to husband's sexual need. Because their sexual need is two ways. You know, you may be happily cooking, then suddenly, you know, she saw that, you're not wearing a bra, whatever, he get excited. We are not excited to see them without clothes, whatever. But you know, they have a lot. They're very turned on. So it's to be sensitive to their need and to attend to. It's a reminder for women to take care, not for men to use it to charge you and say, see, you want to be cursed Sunday morning. It doesn't work because sexual relationship is like. She must be happy with you, and it's like a gift that women give to husband. The hadith for men is actually for you to be reminded that women's sexual needs are complex, and then it's a sunnah if you can do well. If not, it's okay. But interesting, in other culture, there's a book called Kunyaza by Habib Al-Kandi, and he wrote A Taste of Honey. In their culture, pre-colonialism, they say that women's right to orgasm, because of this hadith, became like absolute. If you cannot give orgasm to your wife, the wife can go to the elders and ask for divorce. So you went to the other extreme. We Muslim here, and what we advocate is the middle. It should have a sexual satisfaction or mutuality rather than by ordering and enforcing. So we take a mid count. And in a lot of the sex educator, now if you Google and find them, Muslim sex educator, they're advocating for this. Yeah. So we are in the middle. We are not advocating for that because I think that will cause a lot of problem for men. And they will have performance anxiety too.
Because there's not the way to handle this.
Right.
This is a matter of the heart.
So this is a question about whether... okay, thank you. Right. Yes.
Okay.
Take care.
Take the next question.
Any points or discussion about this, or are there any question asked that you pass the paper? We pass you a box, and then you can put the question in the box if you have. You don't have question, just.
I think you also covered the question. That answer that you also covered a little bit about the enjoyment part, right? Like, there's two questions at least here that's quite related. Is a woman required by fiqh to enjoy the sex she has with her husband, or is it sufficient that she provides him access to having sex with her? And the other one that sounds similar to it is it just me, or is it normal to get bored of sex with my spouse? I know it's wrong, but how do I overcome it?
Right. Alright, good question.
That's two questions.
Okay, bye-bye.
And we have 20 minutes left.
Okay.
Can. Unless they allow us to extend a bit, because there are a lot of questions. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
We sit outside and talk to them. Okay, I understand.
There is this hadith. Remember I said there are two types of the hadith. The third hadith, there's one of the third type of hadith. There's this Sahaba called Jabir. He just got married, and the Prophet met him, and the Prophet asked him, basically, who did he marry? Yeah. You want to?
Yeah. Okay. So this is called the Jabil hadith. Oh Jabil, have you got married? And I say yes. And then he said a virgin or a matron, and I reply a matron. He said, why not a virgin, so that you might play with her and she with you, and you might amuse her and she amuses you. Right? And then I said, Jabil said, Abdullah, my father died and left girls, and I dislike marrying a girl like them, so I married a lady, a matron, so that she may look after them. And then the Prophet say, on that he say, may Allah bless you. This is hadith of Bukhari.
So the relevant part of the hadith is that the purpose or one of the reasons why you should get married is so that you can play with her. And the word used in Arabic is interesting because it is not just play. The word used is in the form which connotes mutuality. The word la'iba means play in Arabic, but the Prophet used la'iba, which means if la'iba in Malay is main, la'iba means saling main memain, or in English mutually play with each other. So based on this hadith, the question, right? The question is, by fiqh, are we supposed to just serve the husband? No, because it's supposed to be two-way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the.
Yeah. And I think the sexual need of men and women are mutual. Both have sexual needs, but I think for women, the focus may not be on intercourse. It may be on you cuddling, kissing, or massaging them. So, but you need to know what actually will work for the woman. Yeah, and I think it's one of the basic human needs to have sexual satisfaction. Not basic necessary orgasm, but even that sense of that physical sense, the touches from the partners. Yeah. On the other hand, I also understand that for men, if they have touched a wife, then they get very turned on themselves and want to have intercourse. That wife not interested. So you need to also attend to that. Yeah. And I think for women, if they're happy with you, and they're not stressed when they have a problem and all that, it's quite easy for them to flow with you. And I would advise couple once in a while, especially in a book we talk about sex for the young couples who just got married, for the middle part where they have children, and also for old age. There is so we discuss how to handle menopause and all that. Yeah. So I would imagine that sometimes you may have to do things like we go for a date, we go check into the hotel, spend that few hours just want to be together as a couple, which we don't do, and because we don't spend effort on our marriage, and then sometimes you get distracted by other people, which is a sad case. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we take another.
I like the question about mental health. I thought that is important.
Oh.
You want?
There's one question mental health.
Right.
In the meantime, I'll think of the question.
Is there some question that is written?
Anybody has any questions that they
and
have to
the
ask?
box, can I have the box, right?
Yeah, the box.
Thank you.
Oh, so small bagi.
Okay.
So
Tak ada?
one question on mental health, right? If a spouse is afflicted with mental health, what is the best way to approach the subject of sex with them?
Right. Okay. So mental health is a complex issue, and there are a variation that you have. I would say if the person has mental health, he need to be treated first. And my message for us is that we need to take mental health very seriously. A lot of us dismiss it and say, no lah, you're just low mood, you're just asking for attention. Mental health is very serious. So you can Google what are the signs of mental health. For example, for depression, it's not a matter of low mood. You really cannot pick up yourself to do things. You really don't want to go out of bed. You're really down. And normally this would have happened for the last 3-4 years. It just creeps up and becomes bad. So but the partner must understand and get help. When they are well, when their mental health is looked into, then the sexual relationship will naturally be looked into. And if you have a partner who is schizophrenic, who is bipolar, these are very complex. If you're schizophrenic, and they can be paranoia, You know, they can even like, for example, say I want to have sex with you, and then when you are doing intercourse, oh, you are a slut, you are trying to get my money. Yeah, so mental health has to be dealt with before we can look into the relationship.
Yeah.
Another
So
question?
basically, you don't approach her.
Yeah.
You don't broach the subject of sex
Yeah.
before you settle the mental health issue.
Okay, other questions, right? Probably related to the question earlier. How to manage an enjoyable sex life with children and other responsibilities?
Right.
Use ChatGPT.
Yeah, ask ChatGPT. Right. I would think couple need to have a balance, you know, because really, truly, we've been married for 33 years. Your child is only with you for when they were small, when they need you, but they will grow up one day, and you find that they'll be the two of you together. So first of all, you must know that your marriage is a priority. Yeah, the children, and then if we work as a team to manage the child, then it's also like we have a project together, more fun. If it's just the wife and the husband not involved, then you actually will go distant. The common question that I hear from people is that, Cik, no, I'm so tired, no energy to have sex. Sleep is more important than sex. Yeah, that, if you want to be specific. So I would tell them, sleep lah, you are tired, you know, sleep at 10 o'clock. No need to watch Korean drama or whatever, just sleep at 10. You wake up, subuh is at 5:45, you wake up at 5 o'clock, enough time. And you are fresh. You know, and the children are asleep, provided they're not sleeping in the same room as you. Okay, I would really advise parents to make sure that children have their own bedroom. Because I have a lot of trauma for my students who say, I traumatized seeing or hearing my parents having sex. They see, but they cannot say anything, they just keep quiet. And then they're also very curious, you know, really, I need to do counselling for them when they encounter that, yeah. And children see a lot of things, they just don't tell you. Yeah. So that is one thing. And secondly, have couple time. Like come for this kind of workshop with your partner, go for retreat, go holiday together.
So it may help if you shift your understanding of sex as intercourse. That would also help. You know, sex is more than intercourse. So when you begin to see that sex is about connection, sex is, and it begins with the sensual pleasuring, then your vocabulary of sex is wider.
Right.
So like if you're too tired, you know, the organs cannot function. You know, and then you try, you become frustrated with each other. In those moments, if your understanding of sex is sensual pleasuring, then you know, you don't try to have intercourse.
Yeah.
You know, you cuddle, you caress each other, or you actually rub each other to, or one of you rub the other to sleep. You know, like you sometimes you put baby to sleep, right? Yeah. You can also do that to your partner. You know, it's something that you have to try and error.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't lead to sex, it actually leads to a stronger physical connection, actually. So it's better than trying to frustratingly try to have sex.
Yeah. I'm smiling because actually we have a workshop where we teach sensual massage. Another level, one day. Yeah. And if you Google or ask ChatGPT types of intimacy, there are actually 5 types of intimacy. Physical is one of them. Physical intimacy means sexual or sensual. Secondly, there's also emotional intimacy, meaning that as a couple, I feel connected to you emotionally and I feel safe to discuss my worry, my concern, and you help to listen and support me. That's emotional intimacy, which is important for women. Men, what is this talking about? You need lah, you know, just do whatever you need to be done. But so we need to level up and make sure that we match each other. Physical, emotional, social intimacy, meaning the interests you have should be about the same as your partner's interests, be it your husband and your wife. So yesterday, Osman know my secret. He is interested in football. Why would I be interested in football? But never mind. So I learned about Mo Salah, Mo Betul, all this never mind. So I learned all this and I learned about Messi and all that so that I can understand a bit about football. And he also learned to support my interests, which is very rare. For example, one day I decided to go mountain climbing. He joined me and then we both as a family go mountain climbing. That is the social Sometimes we see couple go apart because if Allah so old already, let him do what he does, which is not good. And then there's also the spiritual intimacy. There must be able to actually discuss and have a same platform on how we look at our religion, how we want to proceed, what we want to do. There's also intellectual intimacy, meaning I'm not saying that you must talk like you're academic, but current interest, be whatever, there is some matching, be it about UMNO ke, about PKR ke, there must be some common interest that we can share. It don't have to be similar, but there must be some interest about it. Yeah. Physical, emotional, social, intellectual.
Yeah, different.
We can probably go for
Can ask
one
ChatGPT.
more question.
Yeah.
Anybody has any question they'd like to ask from the audience
Yeah.
before I look at the list that I have here?
I think I asked one question.
Yes.
I guess I asked. They always say marriage needs constant work, needs constant nurturing.
Yeah.
You know, requires a lot of hard work. I think it relates to what you just said lah. These 5 aspects.
Yeah.
But from your practical experience and as a counselor, when you say marriage requires a lot of nurturing, constant hard work,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that actually? You know, what are the things that you need to be aware of?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Can ask ChatGPT, no? Alright. So this book talk about communication, conflict management, rights and obligation, family relationship, the adab of conducting your couple relationship. You know, I want to share this very well-known hadith, but people sometimes don't understand. It means one day the Prophet came home and said, "Do you have any curry?" And the Prophet said, I only have vinegar. So imagine our husband here, ada lauk apa-apa? Oh, we only have vinegar. What would our local husband say? What would the husband say? Buat apa? What are you doing at home? You know, I give you so much money. What are you doing? Why are we having vinegar only to eat? Okay, what did the Prophet say? Vinegar is the best curry. How would a wife feel hearing that? You know, he doesn't want to make it a burden or difficult for his family. If a man can have that mentality, you will win the key to your wife's heart and the important switch for her sexual arousal. That you don't make it difficult. But most of our men folk here, from young, they are actually nurtured and taken care by their mother. Mother nak orang by their sister, and then by their wife. So we are a bit pampered. I'm accusing all of you, but you can challenge me. Yeah, so that's the way it is.
Not
So-
only Malays, Italians.
Yeah, so Italians especially. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Our Western society also. Right.
Yeah.
So the answer to your question, what we have to do is to understand that it's a mutual responsibility to take care of our family. Housework, is a lot of couple fight about housework. You cannot imagine, you know, because you didn't wash the toilet properly. There's a hair here. My clothes are not folded. They fight about the least, like, not important thing, but it's important to them because they feel like the house must run. So you need to look at all this nitty-gritty into the housework, a shared and common responsibility with sincerity, not because you have to. You can do that, then you level up for the woman. A lot of women are unhappy with men because they are not helping in housework. A lot of women also unhappy. They have to work, they have to come back and work. They support the family. They have to top up the family finance, and yet there are other things expected of them. Is it similar in Malaysia? They are double income, yeah. So if you can actually treat them like imagine this is your sister and she has a husband who's demanding, I'm sure you will not be happy. Yeah. So you level up the responsibility and support her, it'll be okay.
So,
Does it answer the question what you have to do? This one is quite cheap, $15 only. Yeah. Any you go for khusus rumah tangga, they will talk about this, the responsibility.
The nonsense, khusus rumah tangga in Malaysia is just like,
It's me online. Okay.
like, you know, what they teach there is like very on the surface, superficial. It's not deep enough to cover what is actually the practical reality, you know, in marriage.
Right.
So I felt
This book talk about the akhlak in marriage, as shown by the Prophet, and the communication also. So basically, be a team member to your wife. Instead, I boss, you must do things for me. That's the key message. and do together. In Malaysia, leadership by tauladan, right? By action and not by directive.
What when husband has provided or one spouse has provided, the others take it for granted, like they expect it,
Right. If you feel that she has taken you for granted, she doesn't appreciate, you need to say. And also I must remind the wife, actually, have you ever tell to your husband, bang, thank you so much, I really love you for really providing and working hard, come back at 11 o'clock, working on Saturday. Have you ever said thank you to them? Have you ever said thank you for them to give you money? So in that part, my message to you is that you must express yourself. You can say, yeah, I think I try hard, but I never hear you say thank you to me. Do you appreciate me? I need you to say that I need my work, my effort to be validated. Men must say this, but men cannot say this. Like macam jumpa syaitan like that, nak cakap dengan syaitan. Yeah, because we're not taught to express our emotion, and then you don't express. Women tend to take it for granted. I would agree with you, because you don't say. Yeah, I tell you one trick Osman does. You talk to your wife and you gini sikit, you tearing, you win the argument. Because we cannot take it if our husband look as if she's going to cry. Right? You're talking, you argue with him, and then he macam gini. Will you give in or not? This is also another message lah. But I want going to learn about this. We got 7 minutes more.
One example that I because your question is what is this hard work that you're talking about? I think for a man, one of the area of hard work that we have to put in is communication, because it's very difficult for us. It's easier for the woman. But it's very easy for them to express themselves. It's very difficult for us to express ourselves, and it's also very difficult for us to listen them expressing. So that is an area of work that men should take as difficult to do, but we have to do. The easier way is actually to compromise. Tak apalah. Whatever you say lah. You give in. But in your heart, you're not happy, and then you keep score lah. Then one day, when you feel that every time you lose, asyik kena sampai 7-0 kan. Then you blow up lah, you explode. That's when the big argument comes up, when you sweep under the carpet. But that's what happens when I train more in the artistic line. I'm an introvert. This girl is a social worker. She's the opposite. She's the extrovert.
I think he married me for that reason, because I socialize with his family.
There's one thing about me, I don't like the same thing lah. Why would I want to marry somebody that look like me also, and somebody who thinks like me also? Of course, different people got different. People want to marry. Other people want to marry exactly, but I want to marry somebody who's different. So I'm an introvert, and she's an extrovert. So in the beginning of and not only she is an extrovert, she's also a professional counselor. So when we had problem in the beginning of the marriage, it was very difficult. I cannot just let go and say, okay, do it your style. No, she would press me until she know what is my stand, so that we can actually find the root cause. That is the area which is difficult for you to do. But I find out that after 5 years, when I reflect, I found out that it becomes easier and easier. If in the beginning of the marriage, sometimes we go all the way to 3 a.m. But by 5 years, it's okay. 2-3 hours we can solve. And so so much so that today we believe that compromise is not good. You know, when you go to marriage guidance course, they will say, in marriage you must compromise. We believe that compromise is not good, because the opposite of compromise doesn't mean argue. The opposite of compromise is actually to negotiate. To discuss until you find the root cause of a problem. And when you find the root cause of the problem and you find the solution, you find that it satisfies both parties. Because very often you will find that actually our differences are not much. Sometimes there are no differences, but it's just that we present it from different point of view. It looks like we have a contradiction, but actually there's none. So there's one thing which I would like to encourage husbands, especially in the beginning of your marriage, put in that effort. Penat, never mind. because understanding is an organic
Process.
organism actually. It becomes easier and easier.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, in other words, if it's in the beginning of marriage is so difficult, doesn't mean that 10 years down the road is also that difficult. No, it will become easier. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you compromise, you actually keep score. And you're not sincere, just give in. So we actually don't compromise. We will discuss a session until we both come to an understanding. And then, but both parties must be reasonable that, okay, I think his idea is better, and then I'm okay with that. And you actually support it and don't sabotage the idea. There must be that sincerity lah. Read books about marriages or this kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Can dah?
Is it time's up?
Anyone? Yes. Time's up. Okay. Any last question?
Last topic question.
Masih ada time
So,
That maybe might want to address.
Iman, are you on the Slido? Yeah, yeah. So while waiting for question, if you can scan the Slido and give us some feedback. You know, it has a different code. It's for actually how do you find the session, and then the feedback, and also three things that you learn. Can you all do that? Just scan while waiting for question. Yes.
But there is a question. I don't know if it's related or not. But anyway, this one is an interesting one, but it's not related to. Well, maybe related to adult sex, but how to apply concept of hijab to men, especially in today's working environment.
How to apply concept of hijab?
Because I mean, something that's interesting.
We talk.
So I don't know where this is coming from, but
this is one of those questions.
this is interesting. It's interesting because he linked hijab with men. Because our common understanding of hijab is the thing that you wear on your head.
Yeah.
But actually that is called tudung kan. That is called a headgear. But actually it's not hijab. I mean, it is a form of hijab.
Hijab is a concept.
Hijab is actually a bigger concept, which is a standard of intergender interaction, and it comprises of three things. One is decent clothing, which includes the thing that you call hijab.
For both men and women.
I mean, the men don't have to wear the
scarf, yes.
Decent clothing, you know the standard, there's one. You know, right, the standard, like for men is, between what, and for women, in between.
Yeah.
So, aurat dressing is only one. Second one is, this thing called the khalwat. You are the ruling against khalwat. That means you are not allowed to be in private company with a person of a non-mahram of opposite sex. Yeah. Okay, that is the second aspect of hijab. The third aspect is, what's the third one? I got it just now. Oh yeah, lowering your sight. Meaning lowering your gaze. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Because the first one, if the first one is you protect, you don't expose your beauty. The third one is you don't go and probe other people's beauty. So it means that, to the question, it means that everybody must do this. So that is how both men and women. Because even the dressing also, it's not only the woman, and especially the third one, probing of the eye, usually is the man, right? Yeah. Women usually don't bother to probe into men's beauty. So men
both
also
is
have a play.
applicable lah. So the question is how to ensure that both party has it lah, right?
No, the question is how do you bring in the men?
It's more specific to men actually. How to apply the concept of hijab to men, especially in today's working environment, where I guess to add in to this question is, in this today's working environment where men and women may have to intermingle with one another, sometimes even be in a meeting room, just a man and a woman, but not mahram.
So it's about observing. It's about observing these three guidelines, three factors of the hijab lah. And you notice that is these guidelines are meant to provide us the ground rules for what? For us to interact actually. You understand what I mean? That you are not so. In the Arab countries, the segregation is very strict. You can't even be in this room.
Right. Yeah.
That is not how hijab is supposed to be.
I would think.
Let me finish. The whole concept of hijab is to make sure that when you meet, the possibility of any sexual impropriety does not happen, and it is introduced so that you will interact. Man is supposed to know about woman, woman is supposed to know about man. That is when you appreciate each other. But while in the process of knowing each other, you do not have the opportunity to go into the sexual impropriety.
So I would think in the modern world, especially you're a working woman and you end up in a meeting room with your male colleague and there are just two of you. So the practical tips, I mean, knowing this concept is that, for example, I mean, you're properly dressed and then you sit, you have some distance. And also, I would think the conduct is important. You don't that kind of thing. You must actually. I remember Ustaz would say that, Ustazah, that if you talk to a man, you must actually get very straightforward and very formal. There's no like and don't know the believe is Malaysia lah macam like being cheeky or flirtatious.
Flirting.
That is something that we need to be careful. There's no need to make joke or be intimate with them, share personal issues. Just make it very formal. That is one boundary that you can do. And I think the problem we have is sometimes we have to accompany them and then they have to send us here and there. So that requires a bit discipline, whether you can say, oh no, it's okay, I go on my own. Or even you have to sit in the car, just make sure that, keep it very silent and don't like be very chatty in one way and to be careful. And then if you feel that sometimes sometimes there is some scandal that may happen, and you feel that you're starting to have like some emotion or some feelings for the person, then you really have to stop it. Yeah, it can happen. So that's why in Islam we say do not approach. It's not like don't go, don't even approach. Jauhi zina. And this is the very subtle way that we can fall prey to temptation. That is some of the boundary. Because I'm also working and I deal with my male colleagues and all that. Yeah, and now in the modern world, it's very easy in texting. Someone can flirt to you in texting. It's whether you want to respond or not. So I remember this very important. One of the guy counsel would say that affairs doesn't start when you go to the hotel. Affairs start when you start deleting the messages. Someone send you a very flirtatious message, and you delete so that your partner, will not see it. That is the beginning of it. So we really need, and this is coming from a Westerner, very good standard. I really love this guy. Yeah. He's very good in how he approached this topic.
If there's element to it, it's protecting your private. Protecting your private. I mean, I was saying about the three elements just now, right?
That is not the. I mean, there is a ruling in itself. That is in Suratul Mu'minin ayat 1 to ayat 5. There is one of the characteristics of a mu'min is that he protect his genitals.
It's about against zina.
There's a hukum in itself.
Of course. And that's actually all this is to prevent that from happening. But I would feel that the temptation is very real. Especially in the working world, and I remember one of my case of this guy who wife asked for divorce, and it started with him trying to help. He's a high-ranking manager helping a junior colleague who was being abused by the brother. They take his money, and then he was about 30 plus. She was 17, so a lot of concern and caring. And in the end, she made her pregnant. So men must be careful. A lot of men, their ego or their manliness will be challenged when someone say, "Abang, I got problem, I have difficulty." The sense of protection will go up, and you want to like support them. You want to be the knight in the shining armor, but in the end, you can be trapped to do what you're not supposed to do. So this was a classic of this girl then being pregnant, and the wife cannot take it and asking for divorce. Yeah.
So this is linked to the second
Zina,
one, which is khalwat.
Yep.
Because those who don't believe in the Islamic method will find this very draconian. They will say, no, nothing more, we're just talking about work. But that is where it begins. Because you are not talking about sex, that's why you let your guard down. But when you start to let your guard down, that is when the naik tocang lah. You know, everything you become closer and closer.
in my counselling with men who had affairs, and also women do, I never met a man who say, I see this girl, I niat nawai tu. One day I want to have an affair on her.
Unless he's
No
Casanova.
man, unless he's a playboy Casanova, but no man did that. It's always like he's my colleague, we share a lot of things, we have common interests, we talk about work, then we talk about family, and then inevitably they get emotionally connected first. Yeah, and then they start complaining about their partners, and then get more connected. And one thing will lead to another. Because that is the nature of shaitan. If there's opportunity, he will do it, and he has only one job scope, no multitasking. It's just to make us sleep. And he's very good at it, because we kind of slacken. So I've never seen any man or woman who say, when I see this person, I want to have an affair with her. But it happens.
Okay.
I don't know whether in Malaysia affairs are common.
It is.
Okay. Nice. Not nice lah, but it's okay. We're in the same boat.
Nice.
Alright, we have...
Okay, on that note then,
Yes.
we have to close. Alhamdulillah, thank you very much everyone for your questions, your participation. And Alhamdulillah, thank you very much Osman and Sister Enon for the most insightful, objective, and inshallah, lots of points of reflection for everyone to go back home with.
Yep.
And also if those with their spouses, those with spouses didn't come, to share with your spouses then inshallah. And those who are moving on to the next step in life, also think about, right, in terms of how to develop a healthy and joyful marriage. Inshallah.
So this book is available at Mukha?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
it
book
was
is available and it's available. You can find it at piecemeal. Unfortunately, I think there's only 4 copies left.
Yeah.
And so it's don't fight for it. And more copies will come, inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ahmad has secured that at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can get a copy outside. Otherwise, you can also look up for piecemeal and for any of the
No
updates.
Inai. It'll be
Also no Inai.
Yeah.
And you can check out their plates as well, because the books are available there as well.
Thank you.
Okay. And if you do, let's say you do have any extra questions after this,
You can just talk
you
to
can
us.
come.
here still. Or if you do, let's say, like you have to go back home now, or you have to go around for some other engagement, you can always contact them at their website, Enon and Osman,
Yeah.
or their IG, also
Yeah.
Enon and Osman.
Yeah.
And just look at the name,
Right.
Enon, N-S-A-N-D, and then Osman.
Yeah.
Okay?
All join up.
Yeah. Wait, okay, so my last message is I hope and thank you all for coming here. And each one of us can play a role to share this message of sex in Islam more comprehensively. Anything that we say that is good, we do hope you bring to your family and share it. Anything that is nonsense, just leave it here. And we really apologize if some of the words that we use are a bit not familiar to all, but we want to have a platform to talk about sex in a very dignified and proper manner. And I believe we have been proper most of the world, except for Osman asking husband to go to other men. Yeah, that's my last message.
Okay, then so with that, then inshallah we shall close. Thank you very much for coming here and for Mukha for hosting it here. And inshallah we see you all again in future events. Sorry? Not coming to that now. And so we shall end with us kafara and surplus. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a very good rest of the Sunday today. Thank you.
Enjoy the family. Thank you so much.
If you buy the book, the authors are here, take the opportunity, get it signed.
Thank you so much. Right, you didn't